So, with the world the way that it is right now, I believe that validation and compassion are the two most important things. Welcome back, and if you're new here and you want to learn about emotional health, mental health, how to deal with your emotions, and all things in between, then please make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you know each and every time I post a video. So today I've got the camera a little bit closer to me than I normally would, and the reason for that is because my desk has become a joke since I've been working at home so consistently for a week. Anyway, today I want to talk about validation and the need for compassion. I think right now there's so much advice out there, right? I feel a little bit of like an advice overload. And it's very easy if you're somebody like me to start shaming yourself for not being able to follow like everyone's advice. There's advice for the ways you should eat. There's advice for the ways that you should work out. There's advice for the ways that you should work from home. There's advice for the ways that you should parent. There's advice the ways you should do everything literally in your life. And if we're not careful, you look and watch all of the advice and it just becomes system overload and you just feel like you're failing. I think the reality is that nobody's going to do this perfect, right? And even like the working from home advice I think is great, right? And it's worth looking at some of it, and that's working from home advice, which is completely different to working from home in uncertain times advice, right? I've always had like strict routines that I go through daily within my life to have the ability to be able to deal with, cope and manage with everything that's going on. But it's not always easy, right? And I don't always get it right. And it's very easy in times like this to start to want to become a perfectionist. And also lots of the stuff that people will share online will be their success stories, right? So just know that you're going to find out a lot about yourself working in this time, right? We are going to understand more about how difficult we find it to be present. And it's important in these times to have compassion for ourselves, right? Step back and watch who we are, listen to your body and your mind, and try to understand what it's telling you more often than you normally would. I do believe that we can all grow as a result from this. And when you face adversity, you're going to do two things, right? You're either going to become more brittle and it's going to beat you down into the ground, or with conscious awareness and self compassion, you will have the ability to grow from it. But that growth will only come by validating and being honest with yourself. When I say validation, what it's important for me to stress, what I mean by that is let yourself know that it's healthy to be scared right now. It's healthy to feel uncertain. It's healthy to have concerns, and it's healthy to have worries. It's healthy to have a range of emotions, right? When it becomes unhealthy is if you force yourself to have the belief that you should be okay all of the time and that if you're not, you're failing. That's absolutely wrong. And it's also true to recognize that your personal struggles that you're going through, right, through it, that have been happening since before all of this happened, are still valid and are just as valid as ever, right? It's very easy to start to devalue your own experience and to say in the current climate it all becomes irrelevant. I do think this helps to give us some perspective with everything that's going on. And I'm also acutely aware that some of the struggles that I'm going through are still there, and they haven't been changed just because everyone else is going through a struggle. Emotions don't happen on a singular level. We're actually experiencing lots of different emotions all of the time, and there's different parts of ourselves that are experiencing those different and often difficult emotions, and we have to go through them for a prolonged period of time at the moment because quite often we don't have things to escape to. So validate yourself and let yourself know, like, there's going to be some days where all you're going to do is get through the day. And there's going to be some days where you feel like you're hanging on for the day. But so what, right? Just because a lot of people online now are going to be telling you about how they're thriving in spite of everything, right? And I've probably done a bit of that myself, right? There's some days when I think, right, back to the wall, let's really try and smash the hell out of today and really make something of it. And then there's days like Friday just gone where I felt all emotional and I was like, I missed connection with people. I felt very trapped and inside, and I'm somebody who loves being in on my own, right? So it's just understanding that the range of emotions that you'll go through, validate them all, allow yourself to feel them, and then have compassion for whatever reaction you have, right? I might spend one morning having an absolute perfect protein shake that I've made in the morning with skimmed milk and a little bit of peanut butter and some banana in, and then find myself out there 2 hours later with crackers, scooping them in butter, right? One doesn't distinguish the other, right? So I'm celebrating the wins where they happen and allowing myself to understand that I'm moving through this the best I can. I haven't really got a lot else to say on it. I wanted to start making loads of content around this, and then what I've seen is that there's loads out there, right? And I don't want to start overloading, and that's why I try to avoid advice and say we're all human beings, we're all going through this, and do whatever the hell you can to survive. If you're not following me on my other social media, particularly like Instagram, for example, I put a lot of content out on there, and it's all in a way of trying to help. And I'm starting to do a lot of Facebook Lives now as well, where I'm just breaking down and putting some more content out there that you can jump in and out of. So if you're not following that, go and check it out. I'll link it all in the comments. Thank you.